Welcome to the Pilates Physios, where anatomy meets abs and science meets sweat. I'm Tanya, physiotherapist and co-founder of Studio Pilates International. I'm super passionate about making Pilates education better and training world-class Pilates instructors with real-world skills.
And I'm James Mangahas, a physiotherapist, course facilitator and veteran Pilates instructor.
Together, we're diving into the world of Pilates from a physio's point of view, breaking down movement science, busting myths, sharing instructing tips, and helping you become the Pilates instructor everyone wants teaching their class. What are some things to watch out for when you're instructing a client with a lordosis?
Yeah, cool. So I think the first thing we need to talk about is like what a lordosis is. When people refer to lordosis in terms of their posture, they're generally talking about your lumbar spine, so your lower back. Okay, so normally you are going to have some form of lordosis there, which means that you've got an arch in your lower back. When people talk about the lordosis posture, they're referring to a generally increased level of arch in that lower back there. And because of that, there's going to be some predisposed tightness in the person's body, generally speaking, the front of the hips and the lower back, and potentially some weaknesses in there in regards to like your stomach and the glutes and stuff like that. So in terms of things that you want to be careful for when it comes to class, I think the big thing to be wary about is that they're going to be more predisposed to arching their back throughout exercises. Yeah. So because of that, especially if someone has some form of lower back pain and it hurts during extension, we have to be mindful of what we're doing especially when we extend our legs away from our body. Okay, so anytime where my foot or my leg moves away from like the center of my spine, basically what's going to happen is you're going to have a more chance or increased chance of arching your back throughout your exercises. Okay, so what we mean by that is like when we're performing the movements, maybe let's say, for example, if you're doing your abdominal exercises, you might have to extend your legs a little higher towards the ceiling, or be mindful that you have to make sure that you really close your rib cage towards your hips and use your obliques to stop the lower back from arching. Positionally speaking, we tend to find as well that like the prone position, so like lying down on the stomach, whether it's on any apparatus, can be a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, so we just have to be mindful of that and being careful. There are some modifications to the exercise that you can do to make the exercise more comfortable. So it's like definitely not completely throw it away, but just know that if someone is on their like belly position, that there might be some feeling of discomfort in that position there. Mm-hmm. In terms of your exercise selection to sort of help improve any conditions that might be worsened by lordosis, you're thinking about making sure you're really strengthening the stomach to obviously keep the spine from overextending. And the big one is your glutes. For the most part, you might find that you'll have some weaker glutes or glutes that tend not to be like very, very useful when you're standing. And making sure we're strengthening the glutes, but also teaching the glutes how to work whilst you're in that standing position. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think, obviously I find the same, that prone can be hard because people's back just tends to arch. Mm-hmm. Same with the abs, they're the two biggest ones. And I like using exercises like pelvic curl because it teaches people to kind of really round and flex their spine and get out of that excessively extended position. Mm-hmm. As you said before, that one works the glutes and the hamstrings really well, as well as all the ab exercises. But yeah, and I think that's also, if you have people with a lordosis in your class, it's getting back to giving different levels and obviously giving the option to kick higher and things like that. But definitely, out of all the postures, I think that anyone with the lordosis really should be doing Pilates because it strengthens the exact muscles that you need to correct it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any exercise that you would like flat out not do you think?
I think doing things like freestyle and breaststroke in mat work, the ones where you're on your stomach and you're really extending, those ones I think are going to definitely be the hardest. And any of the ab exercises where your legs are lowering really low, whether it be on any of the apparatus.
Yeah.
And I do actually like things on the Wonder Chair and Cadillac for that posture type, because I think there's some really good supported exercises that really engage your abdominals more in flexion. So, some of my favorite exercises would be on the Wonder Chair or the Cadillac, I would say.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Like, I think with the lordosis posture, it's one that you'll see quite a lot of, right? Like, especially in particular sporting or athletic fields, you see that a lot of dancers and gymnasts and stuff like that. And it is important that we try to strengthen the whole part of their body as well.
Yeah, and post-pregnancy too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone ends up in a massive lordosis. So, and even people that have done a lot of gym, because they work their quads so much, they get really quad dominant and tilts the pelvis forward. So I think there's a lot of people that can benefit from doing Pilates with a lordosis. So, and as an instructor, you just have to be really mindful of that. And, we spend a bit of time, of course, teaching about all the postures on the courses and go more in depth into it. But yeah, it is just something to watch out for, because there are certain exercises, as you say, where people may feel it in their back if their back starts to arch.
Yeah, nice. It's pretty much, we could easily make a summary of just saying, being careful of any extension, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also too, the other thing I'd add is, if you're tight in the muscles like the hip flexors, quads and lower back that kind of keep you in that position, doing a lot of stretching and giving them as home exercises can be helpful.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, just to help loosen those muscles off a bit more quickly.
Yeah, cool.